And welcome back, everyone.
Oh, geez.
Coverage of the majors. TGD Radio,
Where's my kettle?
TGD TV. We're covering the 2015 Masters. Hugh Roy III, George Honeycutt. Jeff
You're
Gilder behind the
freaking me
glass.
out. Stop.
It's the music, dude.
It happens to everybody when that music comes on. Yesterday in fantasy golf, when Deal started reading his out, and when he started hearing the music, his whole cadence changed. He went into the funeral parlor mode.
That's the best he's ever read that. The best. I mean, he's normally stumbling over himself, or he's putting things backwards or whatever, and that's the best he's ever done a readout.
Yeah, he went right into the funeral director cadence.
I loved it.
know?
What
Yeah.
you need to just go ahead and make that his back ear, his left ear music. That's his tempo. That's his.
it.
Yeah. So let's continue our coverage here and conversations, Mr. Royer, HR3. We've got a huge listening audience right now from Australia. And speaking of the Australian players, Jeff Ogilvy back in the field. It's been some time.
And I tell you what, guy's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing flashy about him, but just very straightforward. Doesn't seem to make a lot of mistakes.
Does he own a pair of pants that's not corduroy? I wonder.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. You know me in fashion.
But I mean, that guy, he's a really good player. And to see him back in Augusta, back playing well again, you know, it's nice to see.
It's good. It is good. Now, we've talked about Jason Day.
Mm-hmm.
The one person we haven't mentioned, and this individual already has a green jacket. I mean, everybody from Australia hoped that Greg Norman was going to bring one home, but this individual finally did, and that's one Adam Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we talking about Adam? Why aren't we picking Adam as our pre-tournament favorite? Why aren't we throwing him out there in the top 5 to be considered, other than Spieth and,
Well, he got rid
the
of the long
Rorys.
putter. That could be part of it.
Okay, which he's done recently.
And I think you mentioned something before we went back on air. You know, Stevie's not on the bag, so, you don't have that flashy, boisterous person that's out in front all the time. Because, I mean, he did take a lot of the coverage. And
He
handled
ran
the media.
blocker for him.
He
No
did,
doubt about it.
He did a lot of stuff like that.
But also Stevie, too, with his experiences with Tiger.
Mm-hmm. Raymond and Floyd.
And Raymond, and simply his major championship experiences. Because Stevie, of course, was on the bag with him at the Open Championship when he just basically played his left of left for the last 5 holes and lost that.
Mm-hmm.
He lost that.
Yeah.
Nobody won that. He lost that. So, I don't know. Is it a caddy issue? Is it just because he hasn't done anything in the last several months? Is it because of what? I mean, he goes back home for the Christmas time, and he'll win an event. He may win 2 events.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting here going, whoa, I got to put Adam on my pick list
On your radar,
for
yeah.
Augusta.
Yeah. I don't know, George. I can't answer that question as to why. I mean, he has not been in the limelight.
Yeah, yeah,
And I honestly think that this is a plus for him
yeah. Good
going
point.
under the radar like this, because you're not being hounded and harassed by the media. He can kind of go about and do his thing, finish, get in his car, and drive back to the house where he's staying, and he's away from it. It could give him a chance to relax, kind of get his thoughts together, and not worry about trying to manage things so much. It'll be interesting.
And he has nothing to prove. He's won his green jacket.
Well, you can win 2 or 3, but you always have something to prove because it's Augusta. You always want to win when you're at Augusta.
Well, you want to play well.
You're always trying to prove something there because
Right.
that's just
Especially
what
if
the
you're a
tournament
past champion.
does. I mean, look at all the garbage we said about it today. We can't say enough about Augusta because we love the tournament that much.
Right.
And, the other one, nobody's even mentioned, not even in fantasy picks, not even just he might get a mention because he's playing with Adam Scott, is John Senden.
Yeah. Good
and
point.
John Sinden in a lot of golf tournaments has been there in the second, third, and even parts of the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy can play.
Well, what did you think of the pairings for Thursday at 9:35? Group 11 is Adam, Dustin Johnson, and Antonio Murdica.
Really?
Yep.
Don't know who he
From
is.
Australia.
Never heard of him.
Yep. Antonio Murdica
Is
from
he an
Australia.
amateur?
Nope, it's not an amateur. So, what do you think about putting Adam with Dustin?
That's
Not going to be a lot of words said.
no. There won't be much said at all.
And I think it's interesting, the first-time player, Antonio, from Australia, they put him with past champion from Australia. You can see glimmers of that in pretty much just about every pairing. That there's a reason why, like Gong Yang from Korea, they put him with Bubba. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And Justin Rose is also with Bubba. They're in Group 10 going off at 9:24 Eastern Standard Time.
I think Justin was part of that survey that went out to the players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just checking.
Did Bubba deserve the fallout from that?
From what I've heard from friends of mine on the tour that know him,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, I think it's interesting the way he handled it at the press tent yesterday.
Yeah.
This just tells me I need to improve myself as a man. Basically, what it stated is that Bubba's not exactly the most well-liked.
No, he's not.
So,
And when you've got two people that have grown up with you,
do you find it interesting that that leaked out?
yeah, I do, actually. I do.
Do you find it interesting that a question of that temperament was even presented to the players collectively to get their thoughts?
And why?
And what purpose?
That's what I'm saying. Why?
What purpose?
Because it's
And then it leaked out.
because everybody knows about it. That's part of the golf world. I mean, the tour. You know all about it, but I don't know. No, I have no idea. I have no earthly idea.
What I mean, is this routine for the past?
Not that I know
Is
of.
it some kind of psychological evaluation? You know how corporations make their employees do these 400 question evals. They hire some company, and each employee has to pay $9 to participate. And you go on there, and they try to determine if you're a serial killer or if you should be taping boxes versus making the box. You know,
Yeah.
whatever. Is that what the PGA Tour has done here?
It sounds like it. I mean, I never saw anything like that in my years out there, but everybody knew Scott Hoke was kind of the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But there was never a survey put out about him.
Or Hubert Green?
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
it blows my mind.
What about Jasper Parnevik?
Oh, everybody loved Jesper. He's a great
Yeah.
guy. Jesper's a great guy.
Yeah, even though he was making everybody eat lava rock.
Well, he was eating that himself. We were laughing at him for that.
Yeah.
But Jesper's a good dude.
So you found this thing with Bubba, probably from what you've heard, it was just a affirmation of what the general consensus was about Bubba.
To the public, because he has become such a popular public figure, it's like not letting something happen or what. I mean, look at the Ryder Cup, or what? No, it wasn't the Ryder Cup. It was the PGA last year, the long drive thing.
Yeah,
And he hits
he
an iron.
skipped it.
He hits an
yeah.
iron.
Yeah, he did not participate. He declined.
That might be part of what kind of got this kind of sparked on.
Could have been.
Because all the rumors go around, and then all
frankly,
of a sudden,
I didn't remember that till hours later when I was sitting there wondering exactly what you wondered. Why?
Yeah.
Why did they take this survey? Is this the powers saying, yeah, if we want to do this, we can do it. We can do anything we want.
oh, there's no question.
Can I
about
get
that.
some Augusta music, please? I just lowered my tone.
Yeah, well. Yeah, I find it very, very awkward and very unusual. I don't know why they did it. But anyway, move on.
Let's look at Group 8, 902, Patrick Reed with Keegan Bradley, Ian Poulter. That's an interesting pairing.
That's almost like a Ryder Cup setup, so to speak.
That's an interesting pairing.
I saw that one.
Do you see Reed pulling out before maybe
I'd be on
the
stretcher
second day
before I pulled out, but
Well,
see.
we've seen the likes of other players that have come back from cancer, brain surgery, J.B. Holmes. We've seen and then we see Tiger just all of a sudden, okay, I'm 7 over, I'm going to pull out. Oh, my back. Okay. Does Reed bang this thing out?
I think he does.
Yeah, I do too.
I think he wants to make a name for himself, and he wants to win Augusta, and who knows how many chances you're going to have when you're playing well.
Professor Weldon, if you're listening, I pulled this up just for you. Group 7, 8:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jonas Blitz with Kevin Streelman and Stephen Gallagher. So you can sit in your closet quietly and keep an eye on Jonas Blitz. Okay? That's just for you, Bubba. Love you. Mean it. Group 15. I think there's 2 players here that we need to keep an eye on, and probably 3.
By the way, just to interrupt you, sorry about this.
Please.
But Mr. Murdaka from Australia, he is an amateur. He's 19 years old.
I didn't see an A beside of his name.
Yeah, he's an amateur.
Thank you very much. Great
Won the
update.
2014
That would make
Asia
sense.
Pacific Amateur Championship.
That would make sense then.
That's why.
Perfect.
he's there.
Australian, they pair him up with a previous champion. That makes perfect
See,
sense.
I can
Thank
do
you.
research when necessary.
And I will put an A with a parentheses around it. Perfect. Group 15, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Charles Schwartzel, Youst, Luton, Sangmoon Bay.
That's a good group. That's a good group.
That's some good swings there.
You're not kidding.
That's 3 55-gallon drums playing together.
Now, I got one for you. How about Group 3 at 8:07?
Uh-huh. What are they?
Tom Watson, Gary Woodland, and Camille Villegas.
Really?
If that's not all opposite ends of the spectrum, I don't know what is.
Whoa. Wow.
That would be a very
You know,
awkward
Watson-
group to play in.
Watson's going to be hitting 3 when they get to Woodland's ball. Watson's going to be hitting 3 when they get to Woodland's ball.
I just want to know how many times he's going to yell about his through line.
Oh, good point. Good point. All right, Group 16, 10:41 Eastern Standard Time. Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy, Ryan Moore.
Ryan's going to be asking to play through, but I think it's a very good group because he's going to look like he's in a group behind.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
what?
he's long, but he's not as long as those two.
Yeah, but I don't. Mickelson's not as long as McIlroy.
No, but he's longer than Ryan Moore.
Well, interestingly, Moore missed the cut in 14. His best finish was in 05. He finished 13th. This is his 7th Masters. Isn't that crazy?
That is.
Ryan Moore, 7th Masters. Group 17, 10:52, 10 minutes after that group, 11 minutes actually, which is their normal pairings, their time separation between tee times. Group 17, J.B. Holmes, Martin Keimer, Brent Snedeker.
Pretty good group.
Does
Real good
J.B.
group.
continue his play?
I think it's possible.
See, no one's brought him up. I mean, the guy just won last week.
Yeah, obviously, you don't usually win to get in and then win the tournament.
Well,
but
the kind of current curve is that once you win, then you're kind of worn out with the media
Sure, yeah.
and all this, and so next week you just kind of write yourself off. But this is Augusta.
and this is a guy that's had, like you said, he's had brain surgery. He's got a second chance on life. Who knows?
And he's striking
and he
the
may
golf
take.
ball.
He may sit back and say, "You know what? I don't care how tired I get after this one.
I could take 5 weeks off.
I've got to
after
get
this.
after this
I don't know,
because it's a
dude.
good golf course for him."
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
He can work. He prefers left to right. He can take an entire left-hand side of a golf course out of play. However, Augusta is more for the right to left, right-hander.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a draw or a push fade, with Bubba's case, type of golf course. JB's comfortable going either way. He's by. There's no doubt about it. He can hit it either way. That was G, by the way.
He can hit it either way, and he's long.
He's long.
So to have to hit the draws when he likes to hit the cuts so much, there is the 3-wood, to help him do that, and he still has the length to be able to produce the yardages.
And he's putting.
Oh, he's putting well.
He's
no
putting.
Question. No question.
He's got a short game. He's playing well. Dude.
I tell you what, the group I'd like to walk around with if I could be a scorer.
What,
or
do you
whatever.
want a push cart?
Well, I'm talking about Woosnam and Compton.
Really?
I just think there'd be some funny conversation in that group because Compton's hilarious.
If I'm not
Woosnam is
mistaken,
hysterical.
If I'm not mistaken, check. I think Woosnam pulled out.
Did he?
Yeah, I think he pulled out today. I'm not sure, but
I got him listed.
I got some news on him earlier. Oh well, we'll check on that and get back with you. The group 23 is the push cart pairing, as I've deemed it. Zach Johnson, Jim Furyk, Ernie Els. So that'll be your group of focus. So
yeah, it will.
It will.
It will.
And that's fine, dude. I love these guys also. No doubt about it.
And I mean, no offense, Ernie still swings it phenomenally.
Big Easy. Unbelievable. Furyk, ball striker. Zach, I don't know about him changing putters, dude. He left the Seymour.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. He left the Seymour 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah. After 16 years with the same putter. I don't know. I think it's kind of curious that he left it right before Augusta. Because I have seen him physically standing beside the greens make some phenomenal putts. He makes Crenshaw-type putts.
Yeah.
With that Seymour. Crenshaw-type putts. Group 28, 1:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Matt Kuchar, Brooks Koepka, Graham McDowell.
And I'm going to tell you, if I knew if Koepka was healthy, he would be one of mine. I'd have picked him. I think the guy's a phenomenal young player.
If you don't see me on TV right now, I'm shaking my head up and down.
He is a phenomenal talent that we're going to be hearing about a lot in the near future.
And we know Kuchar's going to be there on the front end.
Yeah.
Kuchar's going to go out and shoot 68 day one. We know that. And Graham McDowell, he's just going to hover. And then if he has to turn it on Saturday afternoon, then he'll check the restaurant schedule and see if he needs to be there or not, and then he'll turn it on.
Okay.
Okay? Group 29, right behind them, Jordan Spieth, Henrik Stenson, Billy Horschel.
Yeah.
That is Group 29 and Group 33, I think, are the powerhouse groupings. Group 33 is a reminder for you, Hugh. I know you got CRS and ARS and all the other diseases, but Jason Day, Sergio Garcia, Ricky Fowler.
I'll be watching.
Does Jason set the pace early? Does he go out and shoot even on the front and just figure if I go par first 2 days, I'm there? I just want to make the cut. Or do you think somebody's going to go out and post 68, 66 or 67, maybe even 67 day two? And start putting that 6, 7, 8 shot separation between themselves and the rest of the field.
Well,
Is this the year for that?
It could very well happen. It's happened in tournaments past recently. But I think it's where you'll start to see him coming back to the field.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, because
So
I
you're
promise you,
saying
somebody
on
goes out and shoots 66, 68, or 66, 67, or whatever it is, and gets it 10, 11, 12, 13 under par, those greens are going to get hard. They're going to get super fast, and scores are going to go
let me tell you
up.
what. If it starts going down that low,
They won't let it. The committee,
the
won't
Greens
let it.
committee chairman will be over flipping the switch.
Yeah, they will.
And you'll hear this little hum. And that's the vacuum sucking out every bit of moisture out of these greens.
Yeah,
They will light them up like
Yes.
this table right here.
Yeah, it will for sure, absolutely for sure. So get into what
While
we
we're
talked
talking about that, let's pick a number. What do we see as the end number to win the 2015 Masters, the 79th edition?
I would say 8 to 9.
I was thinking 9. Good. See, we need to call Guinness or somebody.
No, I say call Ripley's.
Ripley's.
We actually agreed on something.
Oh, that's like 3 things today, dude.
I know.
It's scary.
I'm afraid to
It's
walk out
because
the
we're
door.
doing the extended program coverage of the majors here on TGD today. So, we're both about ready to walk out the door.
Yeah.
I got a long drive ahead of me. I'm headed to Atlanta.
That's a personal problem.
I know that. So 9 is the forecast as far as the winning score. And like you said, if somebody gets to 11, 12, 13, they'll come back.
You're going to see people choking left and right. It's Augusta National. It's the Masters. Folks, you can sit there and watch it on TV and say, man, how did they choke when they you just don't understand the pressure that's, and I've never played there. I played the golf course, but I've never been able to play in the tournament. But just to go walk around and watch it, you can see it. You see it in their face. It's like, please don't screw up. And it's coming. Sooner or later, it's coming.
And you see it, maybe not so much Thursday. You see remnants of it Friday, especially with the cut line. Mm-hmm. So then it starts coming into play for that certain sector. There are 99 players in this event this year, and actually 97 now because 2 have pulled out. And this is the Masters, the major. They won't be replacing these with first alternates. So you had either gotten your invitation 2 weeks ago or you ain't got it.
You're sitting at home watching it like the rest of us.
Yeah, but again, where I was getting to is you really have 2 different – the second 9s on Friday are important, big time important, not only for the leader or the leaders because they're setting the benchmark, but those that are hovering at that cut line.
And honestly, the first 2 days, once you have the leaders, the fun part of watching Augusta is watching what you're talking about. The people that they start covering, who's on the bubble,
right?
Who's gonna, and then you start seeing them on television. Start watching the little idiosyncrasies and the nerves and the twitches there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And then I think, like you were saying, George, Saturday afternoon, about 3:00 is when you really start to see.
The cream rising to the top.
Exactly. Exactly. I couldn't go where I wanted to go with it, but yeah, exactly.
Is that what you wanted to say?
What rises and what sinks.
Okay. One other thing, too, I want to point out for our listeners and our viewers at Augusta, and this is another story. You and I always, every year, loved to kind of follow this personally. But, of course, you're looking for the low amateur at each Masters. And then on Friday afternoon, you're pushing like crazy. You're rooting like crazy for that lowest amateur to make the cut. You want that amateur to make the cut and play the weekend.
4 days of that golf tournament.
Play the weekend.
That way you've got to be there,
And the AM wants to play the weekend because they got to stick around anyway because they get low AM. They get, even if they don't make the cut, they get the low AM trophy.
Yeah.
So, and that's just another storyline to Augusta.
Oh, exactly. And it's, there's been a lot of great amateurs that have become low AMs at the Masters and gone on to do great things. So
right.
It's just another fun part of it. And George, you brought up something a little while ago, and I'd love for us to get into that right now. Is the hardest holes at Augusta.
Historically, 10, 11, 12.
And I don't think there's any argument. And if anyone wants to argue about it, save your breath. You're going to need it later in your life.
Yeah.
Because there's not 3 harder holes in major golf.
Yeah. People wonder about 13. They wonder about 8.
13's
They wonder
cake.
about. They wonder. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Now make it a par 4. Now you got a different ball game, but it's a par 5.
10, 11, 12. Historically, every year that the Augusta National Invitational, and then it turned into the Masters. 10, 11, 12 is the hardest holes on the golf course, historically.
It's the 11th hole to me is the hardest one of the 3, period.
I agree. I mean,
that hole is a beast, and then you have a postage stamp to hit it on. And then if you hit it on there, there's no guarantee it's going to stay there. It may go in the pond. If you miss right, now a la Larry Mize, there's a lot to this. And I think that, you look at the numbers, you look at the stats, you look at the averages, those are the 3 holes. How do you argue with pure fact?
18 is up there as far as one of the hardest holes on the golf course. But a lot of that, too, is the drama that comes with 18. I mean, you're talking about guys that are trying to make the cut. that may go after a pin that otherwise they wouldn't have messed with. They may played fat part of the green and then they end up making a double or whatever. So the numbers kind of get skewed with 18 a little bit, but it's by far 10, 11, 12. Historically the hardest.
I don't think there's any argument to that.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
And if people wanted to argue, I just think it's a waste of time. Because like you said, you pulled up the stats. We were sitting there looking at it, and on average, their scoring average, those 3 holes are higher than any other hole in the golf course.
You know, Hugh and I talked 2 years ago. It was Tiger Woods' tournament. It was his to win. Of course, Adam Scott ended up winning. But we don't have that anymore. The Tiger world has dissolved. Now, if he fights his way back into it, plays his way back into it, great. It gives us another reason to talk about it. We this year are so thankful in the game of golf to have so many players that have the opportunity of winning their first major or to winning multiple majors like Rory. And I'm excited. I think this is going to be one of the best Masters we've ever seen.
I agree with you 100%. There's just I think there are, out of the 97 players, there are 50-plus players that can win this golf tournament.
Good point.
I mean, there's that much talent in this field. And I just think it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to see, who can climb the tree and who's going to dissolve. I mean, it's that simple.
I wish I could put you in my back pocket and take you with me because there's not a better person I'd love to share the experience with up at Augusta.
Well, I appreciate it, brother. Have fun.
Love you, babe.
Love you. Be good.
It's been Hugh Roy III, George Honeycutt. Coverage of the majors here at TGD Today. TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Radio Network for thegolfdirector.com. When visiting the Golf Director, be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, and much, much more. Need help with your next golf vacation? Just call Dave. Give us a call. 844-GO-GOLF-1. That's 844-464-6531. You're not going to throw up, are you, dude?
Oh, man.
All of our TGD programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. To catch up on any show you may have missed, click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. We're now available on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Blueberry, and, of course, the Myrtle Beach Golf app. For George Honeycutt, Hugh Roy III, Mr. Jeff behind the glass, we want to thank you for tuning in and for joining us for coverage of the majors here at TGD Today. There's more golf news and information coming up next.